This is the Civitas Institute Legislative Report. I'm Matt Willoughby. Time may be short for this session of the General Assembly, and supporters of charter schools are again frustrated lawmakers won't even debate bills that would raise the cap on the number of charter schools. Senate Bill 1227 and House Bill 1848 were introduced by Democratic lawmakers this time that would raise the cap, and they're still sitting in committee hoppers waiting for action. Another bill to raise the cap passed one chamber last session and is eligible for consideration this time. Meanwhile, the legislature approved a bill allowing the school systems to use a charter school model to revamp low performing schools. That was an effort to show federal bureaucrats the state was using such a model and should be given more federal dollars. Republican Senator Eddie Goodall said there was an effort to raise the real charter cap in that bill.
Well, we had an education committee meeting early. We recessed and had an education committee meeting, and that is what myself and a lot of other people brought up, was that if we were serious about trying to race to the top, we shouldn't jog to the top. We should add the charter school expansion in there. That's clearly what the reviewers said had to be in there for us to gain more of the points and actually earn some of the money. So, you know, what it looks like is that our Ready, Set, Go plan for this year is really ready, set, status quo.
Democratic Senator Martin Nesbitt said, however, the bill wasn't about charter schools.
This was not a charter school bill. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with a plan to turn around the public schools that are failing. Now, we probably need to do the same thing with the charter schools that are failing, because there are charter schools that are failing. Probably in proportion just as many. And when you look at charter schools, there are good ones, there are bad ones, and there's some in between, about like the public schools. But this was to address our problem in the public school system.
I'm joined now by Civitas Institute Senior Policy Analyst Bob Lipke. And Bob, thanks for being here. I hear that statement often at the General Assembly that charter schools don't seem to be much better than those run by public schools. What's your take on those statements?
Well, I don't think the data supports that sentiment. If you look at the number of schools that actually did not meet performance goals this past year, I think according to the Office of Charter Schools, it's only 2 schools throughout the state. So you have to take that into consideration. And I think if you're talking about traditional public schools, it's far more than that. Also, as far as performance, I think we also have to look at what the market says. Last time I heard, there were approximately 16,000 students on charter school waiting lists. So I think that says a little bit about success as well.
The demand is out there, is what you're saying.
Correct.
All right, now the other thing is, even though these 3 bills that are sitting in the legislature right now would raise the cap on charter schools, some of the supporters of charter schools are a little concerned that there's still some of that oversight from the state. The state has still got its hand in the mix, and the whole point of charter schools, wasn't it autonomy?
That's correct, Matt. The whole purpose behind the charter school law that was passed in 1995 was to provide schools flexibility, autonomy, to make them less subject to all the regular administrative regulations that traditional schools had, to provide just greater flexibility. They still are subject to take the same accountability tests and are still subject to many of the same hiring regulations, but by and large, they have freedom with regards to the accountability, freedom as far as curriculum, the type of curriculum they want to follow, et cetera. But there is already built-in accountability there. These bills that are coming down the pike of late, I think there's good cause to be wary of them because they start to really chip away at that autonomy.
Right. All right. Thanks very much, Bob. And that is the Civitas Institute Legislative Report. For Bob Lipke, I'm Matt Willoughby.